I do regret my choices that led me to prison. I was foolishly greedy. I was raised up, man, gotta make money, gotta make money. It was all about money, and I was obsessed with that.
So tell me what you know about Steve Madden.
Shoes.
I quit one day, put $1,100 in the bank, and went to work in my own business. I knew that I had to come up with a hit.
Everyone knows the name Steve Madden, but don't know the man behind the self-titled shoe brand.
Steve Madden.
Steve Madden.
This is Steve Madden.
Keep doing this. Don't get discouraged. Stay with it. What you're doing now is gonna help you in your life. You know, it's gonna help you if you care about making money and being a businessman. This is your business school.
Everybody's tuning in right now to Fearlessly Living with Arian Simone, and I'm here with the legendary, the iconic, most famous, non-famous person that I know,
Yes.
Steve Madden.
Yes. Good to be here in
Yes.
Queens, New York.
Yes.
Yes.
At the headquarters.
At the headquarters. Yeah, here we are.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yes.
Did you know 1,000?
Beautiful day in New York.
Yes, gorgeous day
Yes,
actually.
spring day. Yes, sir.
Did you know
Very good.
$1,000-something was going to turn into billions?
$1,100. Yes, going to turn into
1,100.
billions. Ah, yeah. It's hard to believe. It's been a long
Oh
journey.
my gosh.
And, you know, been through a lot and ups and downs and ups and downs and ups, mostly ups. And so here we are.
Your story is so inspirational.
Well, I don't know
I
about
saw
that, but
it is. Trust me, it is. Even with
Yes.
the ups and downs.
the ups and downs.
And I was just in Zine's office and I saw the photo at NASDAQ.
Yeah.
30 years you've been a public company.
30 years, yeah. That's right. Yes.
4,200 employees in 30 years.
Yeah, we started with one employee. My first employee was a guy named Dario Cristobal. He worked in my building. He was a doorman, and I lived in this building in the Village. And so he was, actually, his name was Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
But he was an illegal immigrant. So he changed his name to Dario. And or maybe Oscar was his real name. I can't remember.
It's the real
But
name.
anyway, he was great. I had a driver, was my first employee, because I had so many DWIs. They wouldn't let me behind the wheel of a car. I think I had 5 DWIs. That's when I was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't do that no more. But so my first employee was a driver, and I was sober, so you know I didn't have to worry anymore.
How many years?
I haven't had a drink since 2001,
Woo!
and
Clap that up.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing,
2001,
Steve.
and then you know because I really liked taking drugs and drinking.
Mhm.
I was good at designing shoes, but I was better at taking
Oh
drugs.
gosh.
Yes. And so, but I don't do that anymore, and a day at
is
a time,
amazing.
and I'm grateful for that.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
that's why I'm
23
really
years
here.
is no easy feat. That is
Most-
definitely an accomplishment.
Yeah, well, most of it has to do with being sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it.
When you came in, I said you're the most famous, non-famous person
Yeah.
that I think anybody knows. Everybody knows the name Steve Madden,
You know, that's so interesting.
but
that
not
you
everybody knows the face.
No, that's
Is that on purpose?
No, it's not on purpose. It's kind of like I've always likened it to a author, like your favorite author. Everybody knows the name, you know, of the author. You know, I bet you nobody knew what Shakespeare looked like. You know, no, I'm just sort of kidding, but
No,
you know, it
like
was
you're
sort of.
saying.
So it's like an author. Everybody it's a household name all over the world, but people do not know what I look like, and I think that's great. You know, probably great. Nobody really bothers with me, and
Well, it says a lot about the product. People are that in love with the brand
Yes.
and the shoe.
yes, yeah, they do. It does. People have a connection to it. A lot of different ages.
Now, I'm obsessed with your story, but for those who don't know, $1,100, first employee, driver, take us through a little bit of the journey.
So yeah, I mean, where do I begin? I was always, you know, I started in a shoe store when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And my big brother Johnny's friend had a shoe store in the town that I grew up in, Cedarhurst, Long Island. And so he hired me because he liked my brother John, and and so I was a stock boy. And then I did everything you could in the shoe business, and went to work for another company in the '80s, and learned my craft, and then went into my own business. Like we say 1990. It might have been before, but we use that as the official sort of date now that those things sort of matter. And it's been a tremendous. We were pretty much successful from the rip, and then of course I went to prison in 2002. In 2002, yeah. And so the side story about all this is that if you ever saw The Wolf of Wall Street, those were my best buddies growing up. And so they took me along on their ride. And of course, we broke some laws and trying to raise money and everything, and being foolish. And so I went to jail. I went to prison for a couple of years.
Now about that, which a lot of people are familiar with that story.
Yes.
And I think this is okay to ask, and the PR team will let me know if
you can ask me anything you want.
Okay.
You really can.
What I want to ask about that, and especially, I know you've done your time, but do you actually have any regrets about that?
Well, sure. I mean, first of all, if one believes that everything happens for a reason, so, and that there's a, fate or God or whatever it is you call it. So if one believes in that, then you say, well, this is part of my journey, and it was horrible, but look where I am today as a result of all that misery, So in that sense, I don't regret anything. But I do regret my choices that led me to prison. I was foolishly greedy. I was raised up, man, gotta make money. It was all about money. And I really, I was obsessed with that. And my friends were making all this money, and I'm not really blaming them. And I was really taken along with it. And I do regret that. I wish that I hadn't have done some of those things. And so, I was punished, and I went to prison, and I learned some lessons, and I met some great people, and it was super painful and super heartbreaking, and there's a pain in my heart probably that will never go away as a result of it. Because, it's not so much doing time, because human beings are remarkably sort of, we're survivors, and we make the best of everything. And so we did, so the doing time is not tragic. It's the, like everything is happening on the outside. People are falling in love, people are raising their children, friends are going out to dinner, and you're not doing any of that. And it's like you're dead. It's like it feels like a death. People's lives are going on, and you're just, you're just not in that. And so that was really heartbreaking and really hard.
Then thank you for your vulnerability and your honesty about that. Do you think there was another way to fundraise at the time?
Probably not, small company, but they did raise money for my company, this Stratton Oakmont, which was the firm that, the guy that Leonardo DiCaprio
plays.
Yeah,
I know.
And they did raise money for our company, and we built a great business with that money. So, and I think we were probably the only company that emerged from that disastrous sort of broth.
I want to go somewhere with
Yeah.
that. It shows you what infusion of capital will do
Yeah,
for a
sure.
good business. Now, I invest in women of color companies, and I'm in
Yes.
a federal lawsuit, which everybody in here, of course, is aware of.
Yes.
But that's what you receive, whether legal or illegal. We're going to take the morality out of it, the
Sure.
judgment
Yeah,
out of it.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's the morality out of it. But it shows you what the power of infusion of capital
Sure.
turned something into a $1 billion business. And that's literally what I do day to day that these people are trying to stop.
So as an entrepreneur, I would say, I had 2 jobs. My first job was to make great shoes that everybody wanted to buy, and my second job was to raise money. So there's 2 things going on. You have to raise money, and so so that it's vital to not have 5 cents less than what you need, and so. And I hope people learn about your case, because it's really what you're doing is you're really about the American dream. And there's just people that have hate in their heart out there, and it's heartbreaking and sad, and they should be championing what you're doing. You're raising money for people that have no access to money. And you're doing it for Black folks, which is great. And, they should be applauding it. It's wonderful. And, they're just, how can you explain this to them? And so, we could get into it even more, and we're trying to right a wrong that happened in this country. I mean, that you just cannot deny. You can't deny that happened. That slavery, and Jim Crow and apartheid were parts of American life. I mean, and we. So I always say the great thing about America is we recognize we fucked up, and now we're moving and we're trying to fix it and be better and be better. It was terrible. George Washington owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. And, I'm not advocating, taking down Thomas Jefferson statues and all of that. I'm just saying we have to recognize our past and try to do better. And
I agree.
And we never did. And, it's only as a result of, I think in the 60s, when I was a little boy, they started passing legislation to sort of try to equal the playing field, although the playing field will never be equal.
No,
It will never be equal. I mean, and it's okay to say it.
It's just the truth.
And it is the truth. And so we try to do better as Americans, and we're rooting for you. And I just cannot understand, I just don't understand it. I do understand it. I understand how the ignorance of it. I do understand how people can be that ignorant and say, why isn't she lending to white people?
That's actually what's happening for everybody in the room.
So it's great what you're doing. It's a wonderful thing. And we need to do whatever we can in America to help Black folks. Especially, I have a 16-year-old boy, and all his friends, all they do is worship Black people. They try to take, it's the funniest thing how the culture loves your culture, but doesn't like you people. It's such an interesting, it's such an awful
dichotomy.
Yes, it is kind of strange.
Yeah.
And, it's all about hip hop and sports, and that all they do is talk about Drake and Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef, which is a big topic in my house right now. So it's wonderful that we embrace this great culture. This has brought so much to America. I mean, close your eyes and imagine America without black folks. It would just be so boring and awful. And so anyway, it's a terrible thing, and you should keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually invest in even Asian. I invest
All right.
in Hispanics.
Yes.
I invest in Latinas.
Yes.
I invest in Indians. So many other cultures as well, too. But thank you for your sentiments.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to be optimistic. Hopefully, after our lifetimes, this thing will somehow get equitable and equal. But
Yeah.
we're doing our best out here right now.
Yes.
I know you are enjoying this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Now, back to the episode. You're reading a book right now.
Yes.
Is it daily?
Oh, the Stoic book.
Yes.
Oh, you know about that. You know,
I
I said
oh,
that.
I keep
It's
up with you,
so
Steve.
good, the Stoic book. So basically what the Stoic book does is, you know, I can't boil it down. It's based on the philosophies of Marcus Aurelius, who was this great Roman emperor. And he was a philosopher king. And, you know, basically, you know, don't freak out over things that don't really matter. You know, stuff like that. I mean, you know, be grateful for what you have. Use your time wisely. You know, usually the things that we get mad at, if you stop and think about it, you know, you don't even really care about those things. You're insulted over something else. I know in my case, you know, I might get insulted over, you know, something else. It happens all the time to me. And
But you stated in an interview recently that when
Yeah.
you come to a place of an awareness, that basically you make an adjustment.
well, we're trying. You know, you're trying. Human beings is subject to, you know, all sorts of, you know, our egos can be fragile and sort of not real, but you know, you could get insulted and then, like, you know, and so I fight against those impulses because it's actually counterintuitive for me. I'm a complete fucking lunatic, and I lose my temper all the time, and I curse every once in a while. I can see. That's all right. They can bleep it out.
It's fine on this show.
I don't care. I don't really care.
It's fine over
but,
here.
Yeah, so learning not to do that. And I have it now with so many things in my life. Like, what am I really upset at here? Like, what am I upset at? Am I really upset about this thing that I'm saying I'm upset about? Or am I upset about something else going on? And so if you take a moment to reflect on that, I'm really not upset about this, that I'm pretending I'm upset. I'm really upset about this over here.
That's good, because I'm going to therapy now, and I didn't go to it prior to the case.
Yeah.
And she told me, my therapist said there's a difference between a response and a reaction.
Yes, of course.
And I learned that, okay, take a beat, because I don't want to react. I actually want to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
that's
had
right.
to tell me that, because court can be brutal. These people say some very evil things about you in there.
Sure, yes. I've been there.
And I want to react. You said you've been there.
What's the worst thing they said about you?
Oh, that they'd say I'm the ultimate racist.
Oh,
Even
God.
yesterday, I was on the cover of the Washington Post. And the plaintiff, Edward Bloom, he says, oh, this woman is gravely wrong. What do you mean gravely wrong? You need to watch your words. I got some people who will defend me. You need to watch your words.
Yeah. I am.
They told me I was like the whites only side in segregation.
Yes. Yeah. You know, to me, and this may not be a popular thought, I think that it's impossible for black people to be racist because
That's not.
I actually think that, like, it's just common sense. If you don't like your oppressors, right? Don't you think?
That is actually not.
I mean,
That's a true statement.
I mean, it's like saying the people that were in the, you know, in the camps in
in the
Europe,
Holocaust. Yeah.
they're racist against their Nazi guards. Well, you can't be what?
No, you can't be.
Yeah,
No,
I mean that's crazy.
it's not. You're saying what you're saying is actually
Yeah.
true. It's not about being unpopular. It's actually true. So I was posed that question: could black people be racist? And at first I thought yes, and then when I looked at the definition, according to the definition, you are right. It's impossible for us to be racist.
It is
because they
I
said whoever's being oppressed and discriminated
Yes.
against cannot be on the other side.
Yes.
And I said, wow.
Yes.
So your statement is not unpopular. It's
No,
actually a fact.
I believe that. I think, I mean, we just have to acknowledge that it happened, okay? So, I mean, if you want to look on the bright side of it, I want to be positive about it. I mean, just, it happened, it's happening, and we need to do better. So, I mean, we could live in that, and you're not living in it. You're trying to help folks out, and, but we have to know our history.
Yes,
We
that
have
is
to know
true.
our history.
And in some states, they're trying to take away the books, but that is definitely true.
They're trying to take away the books?
Yeah. Florida, they're trying to ban any type of African American history.
Yeah. Did they ban like the Rosa Parks story or something I read in Florida?
Hope not.
Yeah,
And I'm going to tell you
something
why I
like
hope not. My father was her attorney.
No
so
way.
Yes way. So I really hope not. I really hope not to that. So yes, I've always been around civil rights.
Yes.
I've always been a fighter.
So So I do think it's impossible. It's not a popular thought. There's probably people roll their eyes when I say that, but I do think it's impossible because if you see our history, I mean, not being able to stay in hotels, not being able to eat in restaurants, not be able to go into swimming pools, I was just thinking of, like a public, this was before 1960 in New York, and all these things, and they had to have had a tremendous psychological effect on African Americans.
Of course.
Yes, I would think, yes.
Of course.
You know.
I want to commend you though for the work here at Madden.
Yeah.
You
I'm trying to make shoes. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be Gandhi over here. You know what I'm saying?
I stay in my lane.
I'm just trying to make shoes, but I do, feel, that's what I think. I mean.
But you've built a culture of good people. You have.
Oh, the greatest people. That's the story of our success, is all the great people I have around me. Yes, that is the real story. And you could tell the Fearless Fund, women and men, that's really the big thing about my success, is that I hired fantastic people to help me on the journey.
No, that's definitely a great key to success.
Mm-hmm.
What would even be next? What is the next level of Madden? I mean, we are growing by leaps and bounds.
We're always growing, but next is just trying to get better at what we do, and trying to just get better at the things that we're doing now. And, I don't think there was a time where I thought, well, okay, well, let's go into this, or we'll go into socks or something like that. Well, we're in socks, but you know what I mean? Oh, let me go into the pajama business. I didn't know what to do next, And then, so we're in every category now, and we have this great perfume now. Goldie.
Yeah. I walked in here today looking for a bottle. But yes, Goldie.
I wanted to go into the music business.
You did?
I did, and it was I did actually do it, and it was a big flop, and I didn't lose that much money. It was a long time ago, maybe about 10 years ago. I don't remember when it was, but I thought, because I'm such a big music fan, and I thought I could do this. Maybe I could go into the music business. It's not like that, because I remember reading about Kevin Costner. He was in The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston, and he went to the director or the producer, and he said, I got this song that I love, this Dolly Parton song, and if Whitney sings this song, it's going to be a huge hit. And it was that song, I'll Always Love You, which Whitney became her signature song. And I said, I could do that. I know music. I could find artists and get them songs, and I could be like Kevin Costner. And it didn't work out.
The beauty of this, though.
It didn't work out. It wasn't good.
But you failed fast.
We failed fast, and we pulled the plug fast.
But that people need to understand is the secret to success.
Yeah.
Failing fast.
Failing fast, that's true. And also, you try things, you realize that they're not, for you, and you pull the plug and you move on. But you don't throw good money after bad.
No, you don't.
No, the music business is not at all what I thought, and I leave it to the experts. And it's okay. It's fine.
With that, you've somewhat, I know the secret sauce over here, but you've somewhat touched on the secret sauce over here. What makes Madden Madden?
We just have we just love product. Everybody that works with me on product loves it. We're obsessed with it. It's all about cool shoes, and that's and as a and so that culture has been with the company the whole way. And
There's something fast that takes place over here, though.
and then also, knowing what you don't know is important. Knowing what you don't know. And so I was able to, while I was making cool shoes, hire some business people around me. And we started buying companies, so stuff that I wouldn't be able to do alone, And so, we've been able to not only be artistically cool and creative, we're also remarkably savvy business-wise. And that's just because we have so many great people like Ed Rosenfeld's our CEO.
Yes.
And, Amelia is our president. She started as a customer, Amelia Newton. Amelia Varela. I don't know which part of her family I just insulted. I call her Newton. But anyway, she started as a customer service girl. And then, she has the ethos.
I want to pause. You guys hear that? I'm not talking about the ice cream truck. I'm fine with the ice cream truck. It'll be in the episode.
That's okay. You can
they can come with us.
We can get some ice cream.
Yes. What I want to talk about right there to the audience, that somebody worked in customer service.
Oh, yeah.
And is now the president of the company.
That is absolutely correct.
You can still hear us though, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that? I don't know any other company where somebody started off in customer service and they're the president of a publicly traded international company.
Yeah.
It may exist somewhere. I don't know.
It's here. I'm sure back in the day, there was that. Today it's different. A lot of different things, but it could be. I don't know, but that's the way we are. And we have a lot of executives that started out in the stores, working in the stores. And so we need to do more of that, actually. Sometimes you forget. And so that's what we're about. And we're not in the music business anymore. But I love music. But just because you love music doesn't mean you can be good at the music business. So I have women come up to me all the time. They love shoes. So they think they're shoe designers. I'm like, yo, this is what I do. I'm a pro. You understand?
This is
You
what
should
you do.
make the new. Let me tell you what to do. I just saw the new YSL shoe, and you have to make it. Like, baby girl, you need to chill. You know what I mean? You need to chill. Everybody, but it's the same thing as me. Being a fan. Being a fan doesn't mean that I can do what those, what those music guys can do.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And so I leave that alone. I had a buddy that actually works with the company that Irv Gotti. I know you know the name Irv Gotti. He was a producer.
Exec, yeah.
He was an executive, and he had Ashanti and DMX and Ja Rule. Yes. And in fact, we did a collaboration with Ja Rule. The greatest guy, the absolute funniest, greatest guy. And so Irv kind of got me like, because Irv's a music guy, but it's just not for me.
Understood.
Yeah.
Who is buying all this ice
I
cream?
don't know.
I'm about to send them away.
Yeah.
But luckily technology does exist where we can actually pull it out later, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, this is ridiculous. Do you guys have the ice cream truck come up here all the time, Greg?
Yes.
Oh, he said yes.
He likes ice cream.
Wait, this is your doing, Steve? You like the
It
ice
is.
cream?
No, it's not. I'd like to take credit for it. I'd like to go into the ice cream business.
But speaking about the music business,
Yes.
even though you didn't get to go into it, you guys have some awesome collaborations with music artists.
We did some collabs. We've done a lot of collabs. We've worked with everybody.
And guess who just had on the boots?
Who's that? Oh,
Beyonce. She had on the
Did we
denim
work
cowgirl
I
boots.
don't remember if we worked. I
Chad
think
did
I
that.
think we did something a long time ago with Beyonce.
This was
Maybe
actually,
like 25 years ago.
wow.
I think, or 20 years ago. I think we've worked with everybody.
He placed the boots on her recently. The cowgirl boots.
The cowgirl boots. It's causing a little controversy, that
It
little
is.
record that she made.
It is.
There was an album that I got, by the way. There is an album of country guys with rhythm and blues guys that it's really great because the music is mostly Southern, a lot of Southern, and so their roots are very similar, and it's a great album. And yeah, I think it's cool. I'm not crazy about it, but I like all kind of music. Before you ask me that question.
Oh no, I wasn't at all.
I was thinking. I do. I love country music.
If you are enjoying this experience, be sure to leave a review. You can leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I look forward to receiving it. Now back to the episode. But you've had the opportunity to infuse basically music into your promotions, your marketing.
Yeah.
Tell me the Keisha Cole story.
Oh God, I love Keisha Cole. I really did. I loved working with her, and the Keisha Cole story is, she was very. I felt that Keisha was, she was really like a sort of an inside, soul music. Like she wasn't very popular with white people, and but black people really identified with Keisha.
But how'd you find out about her?
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
How did I find out about Keisha Cole?
You were knocking door to door?
Oh, I'm embarrassed to tell the story. So I was campaigning for Obama. I was going door to door in the what was the name of that county in Cleveland? We were in Cleveland. We were in that Cayuga County. That's what it was, which I think LeBron is from. We were in the black community. And I was campaigning, knocking on doors, getting people out to vote, and so some girl came to the door, like maybe a 15-year-old girl, and she never heard of me. And I got, I don't want to say I'm Steve Madden. She goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "I've got to fix that." So I sort of somehow we got together with Keisha's people, and I hope it's fixed, but. I don't know.
But I love that. One, I love the fact that you were going door to door as a billionaire. Did it freak some people out when you told them, "Oh, I'm Steve Madden. I'm trying to get
Nobody cares.
Trying to get you to come out to vote."
Cayuga County is what, that was Romney. So I think that was the Romney election. And Cayuga County was the county that they called the election for Obama. I'm not saying it was because of us, but a group of us went there. And it's the Cleveland suburbs.
So it's two things here I want to point out to the listeners. One, you were humble enough to even do that. But you've built a company that anybody will do any task. There's no task too small for somebody here.
Yes, that's right.
Then two, you saw somebody who had never heard of Steve Madden.
I couldn't believe it.
And you couldn't believe it. But you made an immediate solution. You know what? I need to reach this girl's audience.
Yes.
I'm going to find somebody who can speak to her.
Yeah.
That right there is genius. And people, it's just the small things that make the difference. You're like, I can now reach this demo through somebody else.
Yeah. It was like an old Richard Pryor sketch, me going to the hood in Cleveland and
knocking on door to door.
Yeah, it was really something. But we try to. You got to do it all. You got to try to stay entrepreneurial. People overuse that word, and that means to me, breaking rules, not doing what others did,
taking risk,
and trying to win by doing things differently. And you can be an entrepreneur. It doesn't. Although it's used for business, it could be in many things. It can be many different. You could be an entrepreneurial poet. I believe, or an entrepreneurial general.
But you guys have an entrepreneurial culture at this company.
We'd like to keep it that way too.
Yes, I think that's the secret sauce. You guys are the risk takers. You guys are definitely the innovators in this space.
And there's a lot of innovating going on, there are people out there doing the same thing as me, not in shoes, thank God. But, in tech and whatever, and I admire the spirit of that, thinking differently,
Yeah, I need some advice on leadership.
Yeah.
You run a.
I don't know about all that.
I think you still have evolution that you can give me.
Yeah, maybe.
I
sure.
do. I think so.
I'm not sure.
When we start off young, you were 16. I started off very young in business too.
Yeah.
We don't always have the chance, how should I put this in the most appropriate way, to mature at the level of our success.
Well, I will say that I started young, but I worked for somebody and I did every job. So I really learned the business. So by the time I went into my business at 32 years old, I've seen all the mistakes and I learned a lot of stuff. I mean, I always say to kids, if you want to go into the clothing business, get a job at Zara.
Always.
Or if you want to go into the restaurant business, go work at International House of Pancakes.
I was going to ask you that. So do you tell the kids that they should be focused on their career at that age, that they should start then?
My career, interesting question. So when I worked in high school in the shoe store, I worked very hard but I loved it, and I felt I was doing something, I knew something was happening. I was building a muscle, and I was sweeping, closets full of shoes. I mean, I wasn't operating on brains, but I felt I was doing something and exercising this muscle, this sort of work ethic muscle. And I was really cognizant of that. And I remember thinking about that. I know I'm doing something here, not just working in a shoe store, like I'm working towards something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't have this vision of having this big company.
But I love what you just gave us. There was something in you. You had a hunch about something.
I had a
hunch. You just
hunch.
didn't know what it was.
I definitely had a hunch. We would work. And we would stay late. It was a Saturday, and we had to stay a little later because, Saturday is the big day in retail. Things like that. I knew I was doing something, and so I was doing something. I was doing something.
That's amazing.
So, but I'm not smarter than anybody else. It's just that.
But you're destined.
I hit my head against the wall a lot of times,
Yeah, but you still got to your destination. So as you were talking in this hunch, I was just thinking, for anybody who's listening that's probably really, really young, if you have that feeling, you want to lean into that and follow it. You may not know where it will lead you, but in this case, it led you to an international billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Just leaning into
I like
that
to see, I see that in some people, that really are giving it their, I will say, in most places that I go, stores, or I would say half the people that help you are terrible. They're not motivated, and you could see they're just clocking in and taking that check. That's fine. I don't, everybody's got to work, and it's fine with me. It really is. I don't. But then you see a few people that are doing a little extra, and I want, and it's actually less than half. It doesn't matter where it is, when they're doing a little extra. I want to grab them, and I want to say, keep doing this. Don't get discouraged because your boss is, a dick or something. Like, stay with it. Stay with it. What you're doing now is going to help you in your life. It's going to help you if you care about making money and being a businessman. This is your business school. Stay with this. But it's really, I would say, 1 out of every 4 people give me that feeling. Whether it's in a restaurant or wherever,
Now, I'll say this. The culture in the Atlanta store at Lenox, that Steve Madden location, I was honestly impressed with those at the retail location. I walked in there. They don't know I'm a board director or anything. and they had so much enthusiasm, so much pride,
Yeah.
so much energy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. Because in retail, you don't see that every day.
Yeah. It's hard.
And they
You know,
were giving it.
Retail's hard.
It is.
It is hard. It is. It's like combat pay. And it's the hardest job in the shoe business, working in a busy, in a shoe store. Whoa, holy smokes. Women torture you.
So
Probably men torture
every
you,
blue
too.
moon you walk into the store still, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I love going to the stores. I was in the stores yesterday.
And just yesterday.
Oh, yes, yes. It's different
now
now
do
because
they know
I'm-
that you're you when you walk in?
They do. It's different because I'm so old. And so it's different. You know, I was younger once, and so it wasn't so. And now, if they see me, well, they assume I'm the owner, because what's this older guy doing in the store? But it's what I do for a living. So I need to see the rhythm of the stores and, you know, what they're vibing with and all of that. You know, so that's why I go.
I love that. I don't know too many people that have founded publicly traded companies that have been public for 30 years that are still
Yeah.
going to their stores.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that.
I could check into an insane asylum too.
But you know what? I think the insanity is what makes this it.
So,
I think you think there has to be just a little level of something?
well, so of course, yes. But, you know, as we were talking, I was thinking, I somehow knew that I would be that guy that would be, you know, I used to read stories about like Marshall Field. There used to be this great department store in Chicago called Marshall Field's. And I remember reading about Mr. Field would like walk the floor and like, you know, he'd like stop in on a customer. And I would get turned on by that. I love that. I loved it, you know, and I was then, that's what that's me, you know. And so subconsciously, you know, I built this business to run without me so that I could, you know, could be in the stores. And so I could, you know, touch a lot of stuff, you know, and because that's what, you know, that's where I get my inspiration, and that's what, you know, turns me on. I love to see people buying my shoes, and I'd like to see what they like and what they don't like, and, you know, and what they're wearing. So I've been able to have this construct.
This many years, this fire is still flaming.
Yeah.
In
for
you.
sure.
I don't mean like the business,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
you.
Yes.
I think you're going to work the rest of your life, Steve.
I don't know about all that. I'm not sure.
I think you are.
I don't know about all that.
I think
Maybe I'm ready to go soon.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I would bet that. I would
Yeah.
definitely bet that you would. Do you put any pressure on your children to uphold this legacy?
No, I do not. I would. They're starting to work my son works in the store, stock boy. And my daughter is going to work in our Soho store, my daughter Stevie. And she's going to start actually very soon. But I don't think so. No, I think I'd rather them, hopefully I'll leave them a little bit of money.
A lot of money.
Not too soon.
Not too soon. Not too.
And they will enjoy their lives, and and that would be my gift to them. Would be, I mean, this is what I think now. I mean, that if they wanted to be teachers or coaches or professors or whatever, you know, that they could do that. No, I don't think this is for them.
But it's good to know your kids, and you're like, I don't think this is for them. Do they think that they are too big, being Steve Madden's child, to be stock boys or working in stores?
No, they don't. They know being in my house, they won't think that. They won't.
How did you instill that?
It's just in the air. It's just in the air. And, you know,
There's not too many billionaire kids that can say that.
well, you know, they get big-headed sometimes, and, you know, we got to get our arms around that. I like to say that they were born on third base, but they didn't hit a triple. So you could be grateful, you know, that you were, you know, you were born with some dough, You could be grateful. It doesn't make you a bad person, but you need to be aware that it was just the luck of the draw, and then you could build on that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You weren't born rich.
No, I was not. No, but I wasn't poor and
Middle class family.
Middle class, and got a, my dad was a hard worker, and I got that from him. I did, and so I got a lot of good stuff out of all of that. And, I never had the fancy. I grew up in a kind of a wealthy neighborhood, but we weren't wealthy, sort of. So I remember my bike. Like everybody had a Schwinn 10-speed. I actually said this on a podcast. Everybody had a Schwinn, and I had like the knockoff from Herman's. I don't know what it said, like Acme 10-speed bike. Or whatever. I don't even know if I had a 10-speed bike. Actually, I didn't. It was a 5-speed bike or something. But, so there was that. I never had like the fancy tennis racket.
Were you always jealous of them?
Like Greg had the fancy tennis racket. He did. I never had I had the store-bought, sort of Times Square stores racket.
Were you jealous of the neighbors?
Well, I guess. I could have been a little jealous, and I wanted to have the fancy. I learned how to play tennis, and I didn't have at the time it was the Wilson Jack Kramer was the fancy racket. And of course, Greg had that racket. Greg Meyer, who runs our DEI and diversity stuff. And but I didn't. And so maybe it made me hungry. Could have made me hungry, perhaps.
I love
to want those things, but we never had it. So you remember funny things from your childhood like that.
Steve, I want to thank you for this time. Your story, whether you realize it or not, it's such an inspiration to myself and everybody who's listening. The level of taking $1,100 and turning it into this amazing worldwide company that is still growing by leaps and bounds and taking the world by storm. And that you still are grounded and humble enough to check on your stores from day to day.
Yeah. And I want to wish you luck in your battle for truth and justice.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna win.
And it's a terrible thing they're doing, but you will persevere, and I know you will. I know you will.
I'm gonna win, and I want to thank you all for the support. The minute the news hit, Ed called immediately. He was one of my first calls. He was like, "I'm checking on you, just trying to make sure I said everything is well." But yeah, we're gonna win. Yeah. I don't know the how, but we're gonna win.
You're gonna win.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you much.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
That was fun.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Greg. Steve, I appreciate you. You got this done. Yeah, we could definitely take a couple pictures. Ooh, I done took this off the table. Somebody help me.
Steve, it's a funny story. Sorry about the a colleague of mine a couple of days ago said he and his wife and his daughter
who's over there? You're like this. You won't do that a lot. I did not
saw some
know.
guy in the corner. You came over and you wound up chatting. He thought you were the nicest. Do you remember that? Don't you need a store? Like doing what you do?
I do it all the time.
So it's just such a great little story.
Oh, he went into Don't You Need a Store?
He was like the most famous
Give me something.
chill guy I ever met. Like he was so down to earth. And he did so awesome thing. I love you, Laura.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, fiction.
I figured you meant fiction. I'm like, I read nonfiction all the time. Fiction, I don't as much.
Thank you. All right, I'm going across the street. I got to go do some stuff. Thank you all. Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing, great job.
Nah, thank you. Thank you, Greg. And I got to get my Steve Madden shoes. That's why I stepped to the side. You got it, Cecil?
Yeah, I got you.
Because he's serious. He's going to work. You got it?
Wait, I'll take one too.
Oh, perfect. With the Madden in the background.
What's that slouching I'm doing? Let me do this here.